Welcome to the Early Buffett podcast. I'm Early Buffett, just a regular guy with a passion for investing. In this podcast, we'll try to demystify investing for beginners, gain knowledge from experts in the field of investing, trading, and other money-related topics. Story time. So we're early on in the pandemic, like maybe a few months in, when there was lineups in front of the stores, limited capacities, all that stuff. I'm in the checkout line waiting to pay for my groceries when this older gentleman, a few cashes over and slightly ahead of me, probably in his late 70s, 80s, was trying to give the cashier a $20 bill, and they just weren't accepting it. And I thought to myself, just, wow, imagine if fiat just becomes useless. I mean, this man is waving this seemingly indestructible symbol of capitalism, and they were just not accepting it. It was just so strange. I mean, at the time, they were just, it was all just tap to pay with your MasterCard Visa type of thing. So this poor old man was just waving this money around and no one wanted to accept it. And everyone was just kind of looking at each other confused. They had no idea what to do with it. This was just kind of eye-opening for me. I never saw a store refuse money like that. And in the context of a pandemic brewing, it was just mind-blowing for me. I don't remember the fate of this man. Everything's a little hazy from back then, but I'll never forget him holding up that $20 bill and everyone around him just puzzled as to how to handle this transaction. I mean, let's be honest, money is probably one of the most important things in our lives, yet we're taught very little about it in schools. So in this podcast, I hope to shed some light on the important topic of money and also investing, personal finance, a bit of trading, things like that. So welcome to the Early Buffett podcast. Who the heck am I? I'm Early Buffett, not my real name. I'm a fairly new self-directed investor. I'm Canadian. I'm in my 40s. I started investing in 2019, right before the pandemic. I'm not a financial advisor. I don't have a finance degree. This is just a passion project for me, as well as a place where I can document my investing journey and hold myself accountable. That being said, one of the goals of this pod is to help new investors navigate this complex world of investing and personal finance. I just picked up a lot of information along the way in my short journey, and I just kind of feel called to share some of that information with newer investors and, people who are just, haven't even started investing at all and kind of want a helping hand to sort of navigate the area. I also just love consuming podcasts and long-form interviews. I've always had this thirst for knowledge, so I felt that starting a podcast would be a good fit. I'm also hoping to have kind of anonymous conversations about money and investing with people who've been doing it for a very long time. I know there's so many people out there that, are just kind of been doing this for years and years and years and don't really talk about it with anyone, but have probably amassed vast amounts of wealth over the years as well. So I'd love to have conversations with those people. And I felt keeping it anonymous, and of course, let's not ignore the elephant in the room. Early Buffett isn't my real name. I decided to go under a moniker just for my own privacy. But I think, having these kind of anonymous conversations, with everyday investors, self-directed investors, would be kind of a good way to kind of offer a layer of transparency too, where you can have these conversations. Let's be honest, money is kind of a taboo topic, especially in my part of the world, which is like eastern part of Canada. But I think a lot of people resonate with that. Money is kind of taboo. Not a lot of people talk about it. Not a lot of people talk about investing either. I mean, a lot of people in my circle, sometimes see it as gloating. So, I kind of stopped talking about it with friends and family just because it's strange. It's almost, like I said, taboo. So anyways, more about this podcast. So I know there must be, countless secret millionaires out there willing to share their story. And I always like the idea of an anonymous podcast for people like me who prefer to keep their life private, especially their financial life. But they also may feel called to share their story anyways. So that's the show in a nutshell. Some investing tips, ideas, financial topics, hopefully some interviews and long-form conversations about money. Maybe some light technical analysis for the more advanced listeners. Still have to figure that out, but I like the technical side of things too. Just something light that you can listen to on your commute, wherever you might consume your beloved pods. Thanks for listening. I'd love it if you subscribed. Follow me on social media. All the links will be in the show notes. And stay tuned for episode 1. Early Buffett is not a financial advisor, and this podcast is for entertainment and informational purposes only and does not constitute financial advice. The hosts, guests, and producers may own securities mentioned and are not liable for any losses. Consult a professional before making financial decisions.